In this class, we will see about different types of blood vessels which are present in our body, their function, and what is the use of the blood vascular system in our body. In the previous video, we have seen that the composition of the blood. But in this, we will see how the blood is transported in our body. Okay, you know that blood transport different components like nutrients, waste materials, different gases, different elements, everything is passed through the blood. But how is this blood is being pumped? This blood is being pumped by the heart, and it was directly flowed into the body? No, it was passed into a specific vessels. These vessels are called as blood vessels. So today in this class we will talk about blood vessels. If the blood passes in the blood vessels, if the blood passes in the blood vessels, such a type of circulation is known as closed type of circulation. So closed type of circulation. If the blood do not passes in the blood vessels, for example, you can take like in insects, arthropoda, the blood passes into a large spaces. So here the blood is not red in color, there is no respiratory pigment, and that type of blood is called as hemolymph, and that type of circulation is called as open type of circulation. In open type of circulation there is no blood vessels. In closed type of circulation we can find blood vessels. So before going into this, we will see the difference between an artery, veins and a capillaries. So the heart mainly pumps the blood, it pumps into the vessels, whereas it pumps the blood into the body parts. It pumps the blood into the body parts. So the heart is the busiest organ in our body. It continuously sends the blood. So how it is going to send the blood? It is going to send the blood through a special vessels. The vessels which carry the blood from the heart to the body part is called as an artery. An artery. So this one is an artery. Arteries carries the blood away from the heart. A for artery. A stands for artery. A stands for away. That means an artery is carrying the blood away from the heart to the body parts. Okay. From the body parts, the blood is again brought into the heart by a other type of blood vessels called as veins. So veins brings the blood back to the heart. Veins brings the blood back to the heart. So with this color differentiation we can see clearly that an artery carries oxygenated blood. So body parts require oxygen, our cells require oxygen, our tissues require oxygen. So which blood is being passed to the body parts? Yes, oxygenated blood passes to the body parts. Okay, which blood is being passed to the body parts? Oxygenated blood. The blood which is rich in oxygen. The blood which is rich in oxygen is called oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood goes to the body parts, their exchange takes place, and carbon dioxide blood is returned to the veins. They are collecting the blood. Which blood is being carried here? Carbon dioxide blood is being carried, so it is called deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is pumped back to the heart by the veins. So this is deoxygenated blood. So arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins bring deoxygenated blood from the body parts to the heart. Okay, fine. So they were carrying the blood. So can I say them as distributing vessels? Yes, arteries are also called as distributing vessels. Distributing vessels. Whereas veins are collecting the blood again. They were collecting the blood and again they were pouring into the heart. So I can mention them as collecting vessels. Yes, obviously. They are called as collecting vessels. Veins are called as collecting vessels. So let me show the blood vessels internal structure. If you see the walls of the wall, if you cut an artery and if you see the walls, they're actually made up of 3 layers. For the 10th class, there is no need to go further like tunica externa, tunica interna and tunica media. There were the 3 layers which make up the blood vessels. So no need to go beyond that. for this NCRT level as well as the state level. Up till here it's enough. So if you see the blood vessels of an artery, they are made up of thick walls. There is a thick muscular wall. So this was a thick muscular wall. So arteries are made up of thick walls. Whereas if you see a vein, the veins are made up of thin walls. You can find the difference here. The arteries was a thick as well as elastic. They were elastic. So the space between these two layers of the blood vessel is called lumen. Lumen is a space in which the blood passes through this. Lumen. And this one is a lumen. Here if you see, because of the thick walls, the lumen is very, very narrow. So I can write like this, narrow lumen. Whereas in the veins, the lumen is wider. So I can write wide lumen. Got an idea? So when the lumen is narrow, the blood try to move with some pressure. Okay, the blood is trying to move with some pressure, as well as you can find high pressure in an artery. Why we can find high pressure in an artery? Because the blood is directly pumping the blood into the arteries. So body parts need to supply with the blood. I'll give you a best example. The kidneys are somewhere in your body, like in the abdominal cavity. The heart is in the thoracic cavity. But kidneys want to purify the blood. It requires some force to the blood to pass to the kidney. Who will provide this force? Heart will provide the force, as well as the thick walls will also provide the force. So the pressure is always high in the arteries. So in arteries we can find high pressure. Whereas in the veins we can find low pressure. Low pressure is there in the veins. All arteries carry oxygenated blood except if we can see in the next video which vessel carries the deoxygenated blood in the arteries. So except pulmonary artery. All arteries carry oxygenated blood. That means this artery is carrying deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary vein. All veins carry deoxygenated blood. That means it is carrying oxygenated blood. So this is one of the main important thing you have to remember. Except all the arteries, pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood. Except pulmonary vein, all veins carries which blood? Deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood. Okay, do you understand? So taking the blood away from the body is easy, but bringing the blood to the heart is difficult. So there were special lids, or there were special structures which are present only in the veins. These structures are called as valves. Look here. So for example, I am going to draw a vein. So there were special structures as the blood. So I was standing like this. The blood need to move from my foot to the heart. As it was moving against the gravity, it might try to come back. So to prevent the backward flow of blood, valves are present. So like this, valves are present. They were only one-way valves. That means they allow only the blood only in one-way direction. They do not allow the blood to move backward. So they were one-way valves are present in the veins. So these valves open, the blood goes, and immediately they closes. So you can find valves in the veins. Arteries, no need of valves in arteries because the heart is directly pumping the blood. Taking is away easier than bringing back. Okay, so veins have valves. No valves. They were like lids. They open and closes. As the blood goes, they open and again they move. So they prevent the backward flow of blood. Valves are also present in the heart. Okay, understand? So when there is no blood in both arteries and veins, I think so you got an idea about these all points. Now we will go through the next thing. If there is no blood in arteries or in veins, which blood vessel is going to collapse? If it is having thick wall, it can withstand like that. If there is no blood here, it can withstand like that. But if there is no blood in the veins will collapse. Take an example like balloon. If you blew air into a balloon, it could get its shape. When there is no air, definitely it comes to its normal position. In the same way, due to thin walls in the veins, the walls comes closer when there is no blood. So this is because when there is no blood, it collapses but it retains its shape. This is one of the main difference. It can retain its shape when there is no blood. It cannot retain its shape when there is no blood. Understood? When a person die, one more difference. When a person die, what is going to happen? When a person is going to die, the entire blood is going to move into the veins. The arteries become empty. On death, arteries become empty. Arteries become empty after death. Why after death? Because the heart is going to stop beating. As it stops beating, no one is going to send the blood into arteries. The blood is completely going to retains blood after death. After death. Understand? After death, the blood is going to retain in the veins. Okay, fine. When you cut an artery, what is going to happen? The blood flow is jerky because of high pressure. If you cut an artery, the blood, like how, if you can see now washrooms, like with a high pressure, the blood, if the water moves outside, it was like jerky movement of the water. In the same way, if you cut an artery, the blood flow is jerky due to the pressure. If you cut a vein, the smooth flow of blood can take place because there is a low blood pressure is there, low pressure is there in veins. So from a cut artery, the flow of blood is jerky. From a cut vein, the flow of blood is smooth. Understand everyone? These are the common differences we can find. And where you can find the arteries, where you can feel the pulse. Come on, in the wrist region, in the temporal region, in the neck region, and in the ankle region, we can find the arteries. We can feel pulse. What is a pulse? Okay, I'm going to erase this. I'm going to move him. So what is a pulse? The rhythmic throbbing of blood. The rhythmic throbbing of the blood. So, pulse, the rhythmic throbbing which you can feel in an arteries due to the pressure of the blood. Due to the pressure of the blood, we can find your pulse rate is equal to heartbeat. The number of heartbeats is 76, so the pulse rate is 76. If a person's heartbeat is 100, obviously the pulse rate is 100 because each time the blood passes through the heart comes through the vessels and they show some rhythmic movement. You can feel in the arteries. Okay, we cannot feel pulse in the veins because there is low pressure. Veins' main function is to carry the blood backward. Okay, fine. So I'm going to tell you about the three, how do an artery forms into a capillary and into a vein. The artery from the heart, it divides into certain small branches. The small branches of the artery are called arterioles. This is an artery, arterioles. Small branches of arteries are called arterioles, and they divides into fine set of capillaries. These are the thinnest blood vessels which can occur at tissue level. So these are the capillaries. So these are the thin blood vessels, capillaries. The word capillary is derived from Latin Capillary means hair like. That means the blood vessel is like hair thickness. It occurs at tissue levels, cellular level. So they form, all together they form and join into a vein. This is a vein. The small branches of the vein is called venules. So do you understand? An artery is going to divide into fine set of capillaries. Capillaries joins as venules and venules joins as veins. Understand? So the blood flow from the arteries at the capillaries level, exchange takes place and carbon dioxide blood is going to return back into the heart. So in this video we have seen the difference between an artery, veins and capillaries. Capillaries are the thinnest blood vessels. They were first time identified by Marcello Malfighi. In the patagium of the bat, he first identified hair-like structures and he named as capillaries. They joins arteries and veins at tissue level. Okay, thank you. Hope you like this video. Please like and share the video. Thank you.